Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. The BBC has been criticised for failing to mention Jews in a segment about the Battle of Cable Street. Back in 1936, Jewish residents of London's East End played a central role in blocking a fascist march led by Oswald Mosley. However, the 2-minute report aired this week referred to the role played by the Irish and Dockers, but didn't mention Jews at all. We are joined by the broadcaster and journalist Jonathan Sacerdoti. Let's give him a big round of applause. So, Jonathan, this is just one more example. It has not been a good week for the BBC and Jews.
The BBC, you know, they often forget to mention things. You've got to feel sorry for them. They've got a bit of a...
Like Iran.
Institutional memory problem. Yeah, Iran, Jews connected to the Holocaust, Jews connected to Cable Street, the fact that the kid in the documentary about Gaza is the son of a Hamas minister. You know, it's just honest mistakes.
Just little things. Anybody can make mistakes.
Exactly. I mean, look, they're a small, agile outfit.
Really.
Exactly.
They don't have the research.
They have no resources, no staff. It's understandable that they're just rubbish.
Things are going to slip through.
Accuracy and
they
details.
take accountability, and that's what's important, right?
Absolutely. You know, when you point it out to them, they're always really quick to say, yeah, you know, we made a mistake. Oh, no, wait a minute. On the Holocaust Memorial one, so just to be serious about it, on Holocaust Memorial Day, they kept reading out this script on the news, introducing their reports, where they would say 6 million people were killed. Now, they were people, for sure, but they were Jewish people. Anyone that turns around and says, well, actually, it wasn't just Jews who were killed, of course, those people are correct. But the 6 million number is Jews. So you can't have it both ways. Either the BBC wishes to try to generalise the Holocaust so that they don't have to mention Jews, and then they shouldn't be using the 6 million number. Or if they're using 6 million, they need to say 6 million Jewish people. And I think that's really a fundamental problem in their defence, and by the end of the day they did officially apologise. The same with this Cable Street thing. Of course, other groups were involved in the Battle of Cable Street, but Jews are a pretty fundamental part of that story. Most normal people's telling of that story involves the word Jews. Of course, the BBC apparently isn't staffed with normal people, and I think that's the problem. They may not have meant this to be controversial, they may not have meant it to be against Jewish people, just as with the Hamas documentary, just as with the Holocaust Memorial Day stuff. But that's the point. They have an institutional problem. And when they do eventually admit it, they do things like introduce this daft internal compulsory training course for anti-Semitism awareness. And none of it touched on the actual problem, which is their own programming, which causes anti-Semitism. So instead of that, they had this sort of weird vector drawing cartoon people in the office around a water cooler asking a Jewish employee if the reason she was going on a safari holiday was because she's rich and Jewish. Now, I think the point is here that they're trolling Jews. Once might be an accident.
Here,
of course.
Because in this case, I mean, you don't want to get conspiracy laden with this stuff, but you'd have to go, well, this is a long process. Someone has to write the link, and this is like talking about the Holocaust Memorial Day. Someone writes the link, someone inputs it into the system. They've got a bunch of producers oversight. You've got the people reading it out. So. And then it's just repeated over and over through the day.
Yeah, but you know, when it applies to other subjects as well. When somebody does read it out and notices it's weird to say pregnant people and then raises their eyebrows and says women, that person gets actually told off for checking on this internal institutionalised mistake. And the same probably is true for Jewish people. Look, once could be an accident, twice may be very unfortunate, 3 times it's a hobby. And I would say that they've got a hobby of trying to troll Jews by just very conveniently leaving out the word Jews or Jewish when it should be fundamental and central to the story. And if I'm wrong, they should just be going out of their way to get this right instead.
Well, listen, it might not be active trolling, but it is certainly erasure, where before Christmas you had one of the episodes featured a violin. I think it's called The Repair Shop. The Repair Shop.
Yeah. I mean, for example, they had Helen Mirren bring in a very old cello that had belonged to a guy, who had escaped from Nazi-occupied Europe on the Kindertransport, and they explained the whole story of the Kindertransport, where Jewish children were sent from Europe to be rehomed in the UK. Many of them never meeting their parents again. The whole story on this programme didn't mention Jews or Jewish children, or that he was Jewish. And the point of that is, when they did eventually blame the production company, they said, oh, we'll correct it on iPlayer. I watched watched it today, still the same on iPlayer. I did not find the word Jews in there once, and that was from Christmas. So you tell me that this isn't deliberate. They know about the problem, the same as they did with the Hamas documentary, and they left it on iPlayer as long as possible. They broadcast it more than once. They were told within hours of the first broadcast. So I don't think it washes anymore to give them the benefit of the doubt. We need to really hold them up to this. And if they want to prove that they're not doing this deliberately, it would be really easy. Just get it right. Employ some people with a brain. Employ some Jews, actually.
Well, actually, yeah. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Well, I was going to say, if they want to learn, like, how to say Jews, they could watch Free Speech Nation.
Jews.
We say it all the time. We've got loads of Jews. It's all good. Well, a BBC spokesperson said, although this short piece on BBC London did not explicitly reference all the communities involved in the Battle of Cable Street, it included interviews with 3 Jewish contributors. They include the play's director, an established academic, and a crew member who shared his grandfather's personal experience of the battle. The BBC also pointed out the online piece includes mentions of the Jewish community throughout. Well, they said Jews a lot there, so that's good. Thank you very much for joining us, Jonathan Sacerdoti.